Good morning. Today's scripture is from Matthew chapter 25, verses 35 through 40. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me. Then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you? The king will reply, Truly, I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. This is the word of God for the people of God.
Thanks be to God. Well, it's good to be home. A lot of people this past week have said it's good to see you, and I can tell you it's good to be seen. Good to be seen. I want to tell you just a little bit of how our journey unfolded. You will recall that our mission team left on August 20th at 6 a.m. We began gathering at the airport at about 3:30 a.m. And made our way peacefully to Miami and then caught our connecting flight to Port-au-Prince. We went up to the Methodist guest house, which is about a 45-minute drive through the city of Port-au-Prince and up the mountains. The United Methodist guest house has been owned by the United Methodist Church in Haiti for more than 3 decades. It is the former Swiss embassy and sits on 10 acres of land. They have used that piece of property very wisely. It houses teams from all over the world that have been flying into Haiti, that have been coming to work as we did. It also has one of the largest of Methodist congregations in Haiti worshiping on it. It also has an elementary school and a high school that is a Methodist school on the church property. It also has a Votech school on the church property. It also has what we would call our district superintendent's house on the property as well. And they are now in the process of building housing for some of the staff whose homes were which had collapsed during the earthquake and have been unable to begin rebuilding. And so finally, the United Methodist Volunteers and Missions in Haiti has said enough is enough. We're going to build housing on the campus for some of our workers so that they can once again have a roof over their head. On Wednesday of that week, we became aware through texts and through the internet access through our phones that there was a storm that might be headed our way. By Wednesday evening, it became very clear that the path of the storm had turned, was headed towards Haiti. We initially thought that it was going to hit the Dominican Republic, then come over the mountains, which would mean that it would have lost some of its power. We thought that it was going to be a hurricane category 1. We met with the team, and I had a conversation with them, and their intent and desire was to stay on site. They wanted to let the storm blow through. They wanted to let the storm then pass so that then we can immediately go back to the work site and help to finish the congregation's church in La Tremblay. By Thursday morning, I told them that we would reevaluate that decision once we got the latest storm tracking figures, again thinking that it might be a Category 1 hurricane. The path had shifted a little bit south so that it was going to miss the Dominican Republic and hit what is the southern arm of the island of Haiti. Where we were staying was inland, about 45 minutes outside of Port-au-Prince, in the country, in a 2-story cement block building. We felt safe in the building where we were going to be and felt safe in the community. But later that morning, the engineer of the, which we would call the architect of the church, came on site to check on the progress of the work there. And as we began to have a conversation with him, he expressed 2 concerns with us. The first was that if we would need any type of medical attention during the storm, no one would be able to get out to us to provide that medical attention. That was okay because we didn't anticipate any medical attention. But his second concern was the one that really began to raise some flags for me. And that was because there is such destitute poverty in the community of La Tremblay, because the community of La Tremblay had seen us walking down the highway about 1/10 of a mile from the school to the church work site, they knew that we were there. They also had known that over the last year of construction that teams came in, and they came in fully supplied with food, with generator, with gasoline. And the engineer's concern was that regardless of the strength of the storm, that there was a distinct possibility of looting. I had been in conversation with Tom Vinkus, who runs our United Methodist Volunteers and Missions Haiti program at the Methodist Guest House the entire time. After talking with the engineer, I spoke with Tom, and he and I agreed that we needed to pull the team out. One of the things that I am most proud of the team that went with me was the fact that they still wanted to stay. They wanted to stay in the community. They wanted to stay to continue their work. But we worked Thursday morning and half of the afternoon. At 3 o'clock, we went back and we packed up our belongings. And we were back up in Pétionville, which is the community that the Methodist Guest House is in. And the first thing that the team members said to Tom Vinkus was, "Put us to work." The Methodist Guest House is undergoing renovations at the present time, and so they had both exterior work for us and interior work, and the team continued to work on Friday. The winds began to pick up Friday afternoon and evening, and then the rain started a little bit after midnight. It rained what I thought was going to be 12 hours. It rained a solid 24 hours, which speaks to the elongated nature of Hurricane Isaac, or Tropical Storm Isaac, as it hit Haiti. The big concern with the storm in Haiti was not our sight, it was not our safety from the storm, but it was really the flooding. If you've been reading any news about Haiti, they have been having a cholera outbreak that has exceeded over 500,000 people. And the idea was that with more rain, it was going to spread more cholera through the country as well. And so they are working to do that. We realized that there may be difficulty flying out on Monday, and on Saturday night and Sunday morning, we became aware that the airport was closed on Sunday, and it was going to be closed on Monday. Our flight was canceled. American Airlines, being the dutiful airlines that they were, immediately rescheduled us to fly back on September 6th. That was outside of our work plans. So, Bob Kimbro and I went down on Monday, and we got there at 6 a.m. I will not bore you with the details of how they sent us from one office to the next, but suffice it to say, we fought the crowds for 6 hours before we finally met a ticket agent who then was able to move our flights up to September 1st. Then we had a guardian angel. A guardian angel who hired a private Learjet who flew in on Tuesday morning at 10 a.m., picked us up, and flew us to Miami. That was not on my bucket list. I've now put it on my bucket list, and I've crossed it off because that was quite a treat. We had it was a 9-seater. We had 7 people. We had met a Presbyterian pastor from Kansas who was working to install throughout Haiti solar panel run water purification systems. And his flight had been canceled. And so we invited him to come and take the 8th seat. And then he said, I've got a Haitian pastor who's never left the island. He's flying to Shreveport, Louisiana, to attend a wedding at First United Methodist Church at the head of Texas Street in Shreveport. Can he fly as well? And so we said, absolutely, bring him along. And so we had 2 other passengers with us. The 9th seat was in the bathroom. So being the team leader, I volunteered for the bathroom, and they left me in the bathroom the entire flight. Now, I have to be honest with you. The bathroom on a Learjet is not the bathroom on a commercial flight. In fact, it is padded leather all around, and I didn't even lift up the 2 seats to see if, in fact, there was a toilet there. But I was extremely comfortable, and when Bob Kimbro said, "Tim, your 20 minutes are up, would you like somebody else to take that seat?" I was perfectly comfortable and stayed there. But I will never forget the mission team that left me on the toilet. We then drove from Miami to Pensacola. Sharon Holleman had a friend who had a camp house that was on one of the inlets off of Pensacola Bay. And so we moved in there on Tuesday night about 11:30 at night. I did the calculations. We traveled for 17 hours straight to get to Pensacola from Port-au-Prince. We then bedded down. Split up between the beds and the couches, and we're just grateful to have a roof over our heads and pillow under our heads and air conditioning for the first time in 9 days. We waited out the storm and we came in on Thursday. The good news is that everybody's homes that was on the mission trip is safe and secure, but you know the damage that we sustained here, and so our focus is on this. Well, I wanted to give you just a kind of a play-by-play as to what happened on the mission team. I'm going to close my comments, and as I do, I'm going to ask Gilberto to come forward, and he's going to share his experience on the mission trip and the impact that it had on his life, as then Sharon will, and then Bob Kimbro as well. There are 2 things that strike me about this trip. Number one, that this team, throughout the entire trip, didn't become so focused on all of the emotions that were raised with a storm bearing down on New Orleans, still very raw feelings from Hurricane Katrina, but said, we want to stay, we want to work. On the drive back, I was being interviewed by the Times-Picayune, and the question came, would the team members go on another mission trip? And so I turned the phone onto speaker, and I said, let me ask you, were you at any time afraid for your safety? And it was a resounding no. And then I asked, would your experience on this team ever stop you from going on another mission trip? And the answer was a resounding no. That speaks volumes. Gilberto?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I would really like more people to go there. It's the hardest thing right over there is to communicate with the people over there because it's so hard. We don't understand. We try to help. They don't want because they don't understand what we're trying to do. You know, these people really need a lot of help. Spiritual help, manual help. Money-wise, it's so hard. If I should go back, I will. If I have to stay more than 1 week, I will stay more than 1 week. We need a lot of people with vocations that know a little carpentry, little electrical, masonry, our gardening, even that, because we saw the garden they had over there. Oh my God, they have the water right there. No one knows to take the water and put it on the garden so that everything could sprout. Everything's dry. I don't know. I think we need a bigger team with more skills so that we could help a lot more. And I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Why? Good morning. This was a mission trip that when I got back I said would never end. Before I went on this mission trip, my family I felt always needed me. During a storm, Mama's the one that took care of everybody. But through the storm, even in Haiti, I was never afraid. I knew my kids would get through it, and they did. Unless you can see the people in Haiti, newspapers, television accounts, they don't do it justice. There's so much poverty. The kids we met were awesome. They don't have anything, but they were telling us, God bless you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for helping us. And I feel like I'm still on a mission trip because there's work here, even in our community, that we can help. There are people that are hungry. There are people who don't have any electricity. And you know, I would have thought before I went, I'm like, no electricity, no air conditioning, no real running water. But when you're down there, that doesn't mean anything. You see everybody down there is going through the same thing, but they don't complain. They don't complain. My grandkids, it's hot. It's hot. Well, everybody's hot. But in Haiti, those kids, they don't complain. They were just so happy to have us there and knowing that we were helping them out. And even though what we did seemed to be small, it made us feel good. And I also want to thank Pastor Tim for being the best team leader. I know he was going through a lot himself with his family in Slidell, trying to keep us safe, and he did. And one thing I want to say is when my day is over, I'm hoping the Lord will tell me, good job. Thank you.
Well, good morning. It's kind of hard to say in 3 or 5 minutes everything that we experienced on our mission trip. I think Tim and Gilberto and Sharon summed it up pretty well, and I've got a couple things here I want to hopefully touch upon. But first of all, I would like to thank Tim for his leadership during the whole trip, because it was, as you heard, quite an ordeal. And his 30-second summary of our experience at the 6-hour trip to the airport really didn't do it justice, because we saw a lot of different things in that 6-hour trip, and a lot of different pieces of the human element that come out to play, human emotions, anger, frustration, things that we take for granted that they don't have, just the capabilities to deal with. There were people there showing up for their flight that morning that learned that morning when they were there that their flight was canceled, and they probably got rebooked for 2 weeks later like we did. So a lot of different things that you saw and you got to experience. And I wrote down a couple of things that as I have expressed to others who've asked me since I've been back, how was your trip? And I've kind of tried to summarize it here for you, but it was certainly eye-opening. I think you heard from Gilberto and Sharon, the quality of life that the Haitians have is dramatically different than what we are used to dealing with. They just don't have running water. They don't have a sewer system. They don't have electricity. There's a lot of things that they don't have, but as Sharon said it so well, they don't really care in a lot of times because they enjoy the human life, they enjoy each other, they enjoy the interactions. The human spirit really comes out to play, and the things that are really important in our life, and that is our relationships with others, is really what they focus on, where in our society we kind of focus on our relationships with our things, so to speak, with our electricity, with our nice houses that we have, and our automobiles, and the luxuries that we are blessed to have. Certainly heartwarming. to be able to interact with others in a very small way. We were there for, basically a week, but we were able to interact with, as Sharon said, a lot of the kids that were at the school. They had their vacation Bible school week, as I appreciated going on the week that we were there. And so we got to interact with them. We got to interact with a witch doctor who actually lives behind the church grounds, as I appreciate it. I don't know if you saw the article that was written in the local paper here, but just the chance to interact with others that you normally wouldn't get a chance to interact with was certainly heartwarming for me. I think appreciation for the things that we do have. If you take a trip like that and it's only a week of your 52-week year, but it does put in perspective those things that we do take for granted over here and that we are blessed with as a country. And as we enter our political season and trying to elect a leader, you hear all the political leaders of our country talk about what a great country we have, and it really is true. We do have a great country, and we ought to be thankful for that. And we ought to take those blessings that we get from what we're able to achieve in our country and be able to give it back to others in a small way like we did on our trip to Haiti. Certainly fellowship, the ability to interact with Gilberto and Sharon and Tim in a way that I would have never have envisioned was certainly probably the best part of the trip for me. To be able to experience that with them was certainly important for me. It's a way to bond and connect with others in our church family here. It's a way to reach out and touch others in a community that certainly needs our help. And so that was certainly an important element of the trip for me, even though Gilberto is very skilled in terms of what he can do. And he certainly, I didn't add anything to the team in terms of skilled labor, I can promise you that. I moved to Wilbur pretty well, that's about all I could do. I think that this, in summary, I think this is the first time I've been on a mission trip. And I think, as Sharon said, we should think about our lives as a daily mission and what we can do to help others in our world today. When you leave our church family here, think about how you can touch others. I would encourage each of you to think about doing a mission trip to Haiti. I know Tim's planning on going back. I think his next trip planned is for April, which is going to be a little challenging for me, given I'm a CPA and that's in the middle of my busy season. But I'm going to do everything I can to try to attend, and I would encourage each of you to try to attend that next trip, because it certainly is an experience that is very, very rewarding and enables you to do the work of our Lord. It is a calling to touch others. Our scriptures and our teachings tell us that we are to love each other as we love ourselves. And this kind of trip enables you to try to do that in a small way. And we learned a lot of things about each other. We learned a lot of things about other people, and we learned a lot of things about that there's a big need out there in this world, and we're a very small part of it, and there's a lot of work to do. So, with that, I'll close with this sentence or phrase that nobody, including God, said His work would be easy. And as Tim walked you through our experience, that was certainly the case. So thank you very much.
So the question becomes, where are we headed from here? Well, you recall last fall, we asked you to sponsor one child or more for their education at the La Tremblay Primary School. The cost of educating a child for 1 year is $100. Last year, we raised $5,300 and sponsored 53 children who otherwise would not have gotten an education. Here was the shocking thing for me, that when I sat down and I met again with the director of the school, I asked what her attendance was or enrollment was last year. Now, last July, I asked the same question. So in the school year of 2011 and 2012, they had 165 students. In the 2010-2011, they had 185. Now, we added scholarships for 53 children, and enrollment went down. That tells you something about the poverty of that community. And it also says that that school may very well have struggled to stay open had it not been for our generosity. $100. That's giving up fast food once a week for a few months, or a cup of coffee at CC's or any other coffee shop once a week for a few months. Beginning next week, we're going to take a special offering for scholarships for the students at La Tremblay. That's number one. Number two, I had a long discussion with Tom Vinkus about what we as a congregation and the other congregations that were represented. We had 4 churches that were represented, including Pastor Kasim's church in Kenner. All 4 of those congregations are interested in a long-term relationship with the community of La Tremblay. And so the hope is that I will be able to lead a small team of 3 or 4 other persons, that we will go down and do an exploratory trip. We will interview the district superintendent. We will interview the new pastor that is being appointed to La Tremblay, as well as the lay pastor who's been the lay pastor of that church for 30 years, and then people in the community to get a better understanding of the true needs in that community. We know that within the next 3 to 4 years, the Methodist Church is going to be building Methodist housing for that community to increase the standard of living on property that they own in La Tremblay. But the question becomes, how can we improve the educational system? How can we improve the life of the people who are living in destitute poverty, making less than $3 a day between now and then? And so we want your prayers to be in that, and we would ask that you would go to God to discern what he would have you give to help sponsor a child or children for their education. We did a wonderful thing last year, but as you know, you do not educate a child in 1 year. It takes 7 grades to get through the Methodist primary school, and then they head on to high school. And so we want you to pray about that this week and to be prepared to open your hearts once again to the needs that are there. Our next trip is April 2 through 9. That is the Tuesday after Easter. And we would like for you also to prayerfully consider going on mission. I purposely scheduled it during the week after Easter because that is a vacation week for many school teachers. It is a vacation week because of the school system being off and impacts many families, and maybe make that available. We would like to ask you to prayerfully consider to join us. As you just heard from these 3 individuals, it will radically change your life. It will radically change your attitude of your circumstances, and it will deepen your heart and your faith as you discover in a new way what it truly means to love others as you love yourself. Amen. Let us continue.